welcome to my channel. I'm Dawn the Reclusive Crafter, and today is going to be very messy. We're on Scrapbusting Saturday, and I'm doing a little bit more on postcards, and I've just had a little bit of a place that I know what I'm doing, and I'm just going to show you. I'm actually quite pleased with these. These are just the postcards that I was playing with the other day. And I have played with some alcoholics with them, and I thought I'd share with you the process that I did for this. I don't know if you can see, but there's metallics on there as well. It's really easy to play with them. Actually, they do make a bit of a mess. You can back them if you want to, but I actually quite like that. Quite like the grunginess of them, really. And what I've used is that they're literally just photocopy paper. That was a photocopy of, as you can see, a music sheet. So yeah, I've literally just used ordinary photocopy paper with these. I know a lot of the videos recommend watercolor paper, but I've just used photocopy paper and it's worked brilliantly. So I'm going to take you through how to do this. Before I do that, I'd just like to welcome all my new subscribers. I've just had a little bit of a flurry thanks to the Georgian Romance journal that I did. If you haven't popped over and seen it yet, feel free to do so. It's a very pretty little journal. Yeah, so welcome to all my new subscribers, but as always, welcome to all my regular subscribers as well. Love having you here. So let's get started. Like I say, this is a really easy process. I have done a little list of things that you need to do this with. And you might not have alcoholics, you might have alcoholics and really not know what to do with them. Sorry, I'm just getting some paper out of the way. I've got some to hand because this is really messy. My hands are absolutely filthy. Probably a good idea to use gloves, to be honest with you. But yeah, I'm never very good at protecting myself on these things. So alcoholics, these ones, I will take you through a little tip with these as well. So I'm not sure what make these are actually. These are, where are we? I bought it as a huge box. They were dead cheap, not very expensive at all, and they're Fanza Rich epoxy resin dye alcoholics. So that's basically what I'm using. I bought a set of 36 of them. I can't remember how much they were, but honestly they weren't that expensive. I just thought I'd buy them and just give them a go, and they're sat in my stash, so I thought I'd make use of them today. Through trial and error of using them, I have come across a few little tips for you. If you're, oh, that one's actually been used. Oh, I can show you on this anyway, it doesn't matter. If you're using them for the first time, you do have to pierce them, okay? And my recommendation is that you push the pin in, if you can get it in. So you push the pin down. Now, before you pull the pin out, get some tissue and hold some tissue around the opening of the bottle. And then as you pull the pin out, hold the pin tightly and allow the tissue to wipe the pin. Now, if you don't do that, what you'll end up with, as you pull the pin out, it all sprays out and you get this sudden gush of ink and it makes a right mess. And trust me, I've been caught out doing that. So yeah, just a little tip there so that you don't get stung on it like I did. I had ink everywhere when I used these for the first time. This isn't my first time of using them, but I haven't used them for a while. They've just been sitting in my stash, as they do when you buy all these things and you think, oh yeah, I'll have a play with that. And they just sit there and sit there and sit there. So alcoholics, you will also need some, and I'm not sure if I'm going to pronounce this right, so apologies if my pronunciation is completely wrong. The isopropyl alcohol, I think that's how you pronounce it, isopropyl alcohol. Basically it's the stuff that they put in nail varnish remover. So if you've got some nail varnish remover, do you know what, that'll probably do the job. You need some kind of an air blower. I've got this, not quite sure where it came from. I nicked it from my other half, and it just blows air. So yep, we can just blow air with that, which is lovely. And then paper of your choice. Like I say, you will see video. Look at my hands, they're filthy. You will see videos that recommend various different papers to do this particular media challenge with. And I think a lot of the recommendations are more around watercolour papers. But like I say, I'm just using what I've got. Now, I've also prepared, I'm just going to get them out from under my mat because they have been drying. Oh, where have they all gone? I've lost them. Okay, back in the room. Sorry, I thought I was all prepared and then I wasn't. So, I have got my postcards that I was using the other day. Same postcards, same not so great pictures on them. I've just put some ordinary print paper on 2 of them. I have put some printed print paper on one of them with the music sheet on. Want to use that again. I'd quite like the effect of that. And on this one, I've used some antique paper. Don't know what this is going to work out like, but it's, as you can see, it's very old. It is antique, and I just thought I'd give that a go. Not done that one before, so I'm quite interested to see how this one's going to come out. I know how these come out, and they work relatively well. Haven't used this one before, so I'm going to make a start on this one. And I thought I'd do a little bit of a grungy look on this one. So now you know what you need. I'll leave that there. Excuse my scrawl, by the way. I was just writing it down so I didn't forget to tell you what we needed. But I will put it in the description as well, so that you've got a record of it. Now, I have pulled out some grungy-ish colours. So I've got a red brown. I have got a caramel. I have got a coffee, and I've also pulled out a black. And if that wasn't enough, I have also got a light metallic pink. And by the way, when you use these, do give them a good shake before you use them, because they do separate out, especially the metallics separate out. I've got the pink, and I've also got this one, which is a metallic grey. So I'm going to see how we get on with this. I've also got a little spray bottle with some of the isopropyl alcohol in, and we're going to make a start. I'm quite excited about this, actually. I'm not quite sure, like I say, and you do need to soak your paper quite well. And then where's my caramel? I want to start with my caramel. There we go. So now, once the ink is actually down on the paper and it soaks into the paper, there's no changing it. You can't change it once it's soaked into the paper. I also want to, I'm going to start with that one, and oh, that one's not very, this is the metallic. I just want to, and you literally just spray, and as you can see, I'm just going to move the ink around with the ink on the pen's running as well. I'm just going to move this around with my air blower, and I really just want to get a bit of grunge on this and see how it comes out. Just give it a good old squidge, and I think I'm going to go with a little bit of goldy colour there as well. I have found on the ones I've already done, I did feel that I was a little bit overzealous with the metallics, so I'm going to try and not do that. Where's my coffee? I want to spray down here. You can smooch it around while the ink is still sitting on the surface, but once the ink goes into the paper, yeah, there's not a lot you can do about it, to be honest. Oh, I didn't realise that. That coffee's metallic. Did not realise that. Okay, well, that'll be interesting. A little bit of metallic coffee there. Let's put some more of my red brown in. Yeah, that is red brown. Smoosh that about a bit. And I think the trick with this is less is more. So, although having said that, I've also found that if you don't like something that you've done, you just keep adding inks until you kind of get the effect that you want. Oh, that's nice. And like I say, you just keep smooshing around until, where's the little pink one? There it is. I'm just going to shake this one up. Want a little bit pink in there. Like I say, I'm trying to achieve a kind of a grungy-ish or esque or whatever. I need a little bit of lighter colour over here, ideally. What have we got? I don't want another metallic. Maybe it is going to have to be a metallic because I haven't really got... Let's try a little bit of white, just to tone that down a little bit. Just want to add in a little bit of... That's better, isn't it? Like I say, you just keep adding and just keep adding until you're actually happy with what you're looking at. That's nice. Okay, I wonder if I can skew my reach. Oh, that would have been interesting. Black, I think I'll pop a little bit of, just the tiniest little drop of black. Go on, you're going to tell me that's not open. Oh, goodness me. I thought I'd prepped all these. Well, here we go. In for a penny. Like I say, you just pop the pin in. Hold the tissue around the pin, because otherwise this will just spray everywhere. Pull the pin out. There we go. Did you see that? How that all sprayed out there. Now, if that tissue hadn't been there, that could have been pretty horrendous, with black ink absolutely everywhere. As it is, it's only ended up on me and the paper, which is good. Okay, and maybe a little bit on my desk. That's nothing to worry about. Okay, I'm going to just give that a little bit of a smush with the isopropyl alcohol, and I just literally want just a couple of dabs of this, maybe a bit up there as well, and then smush that in a little bit, and that one, and that one. Okay, am I happy with that? I want something, I feel like there's something missing here in the middle a little bit. Now the other thing you can do, it's a bit better, the other thing you can do is if you have got large pools and you want to do something with it, you can put a little bit of tissue in the middle of the pool and just soak some of it up, which just allows you just to see a little bit of the background as well. It's quite nice. Where's my grey gone? There it is. Let me pop a little bit of grey there. This is the metallic grey. So I guess silver. And I'm going to add on top of that a little bit of the gold. And give that a quick spludge. And I've lost the silver now. Well, I didn't want to do that, so I was hoping that one would go on the outer side of the other, but that didn't quite work how I wanted it to. So I'm going to add a little bit more of the silver just in there. That's nice. Okay, I'm going to leave that. That's good. Okay, I am now going to leave that just to dry as it is. The beauty of this is you can also get another bit of paper and lay it over the top and get a sort of a mirror image and then do other bits with that, which is what I did with one of the other ones. I'm just going to set this aside just as it is. And then we're going to play with another piece. And as if by magic, here's one I prepared earlier. Yay. Okay, and now I want to do this one now. This one came out really well, and I'm going to go with yellow, yellow and green with a bit of blue, and I'm going to go with a sand yellow metallic, and maybe a little bit of black. Let's see how that works. Okay, so again, soak what it is you're working on. A few little dabs of ink, and I want a little bit of yellow on that as well. I like the way that's moving around already, which is nice. Okay, and then we're going to do a little bit of blue in, blue, like so, like that. Just going to soak the rest of it as well so that I can come round with it all. Okay, I'll pop a little bit of blue there and down the centre-ish. The card is curling a little bit, but that's no great shakes. Put a little bit of yellow in, that will go into the blue and obviously make a different colour green, which is good. Let me just move that around a little bit. Getting a lovely colour green here, lovely background. I should go over that with a bit more blue in a minute, just to bring in a bit more blue. Okay, like that. Just bring that down there. Okay, a little bit of the metallic. I think the fact that the card is curling a little bit probably isn't helping my endeavours here, but that's not to worry. I'm going to put a dab of black in there, and in there. And that's picked up some of the gold as well, which looks quite nice. Okay, I just want to get some of that ink, or rather some of the isopropyl off of there. It's just a little bit too wet. There we go. Because we've got the black smudging around there. Can you see? And it just amazes me how suddenly it all kind of comes together and you end up with something that actually looks really nice. Okay, I want to put some blue in there. And I think I'm going to pop some there as well. Again, I do feel that this is probably not soaking in quite as well as it has done on other bits of paper, but it will just give you a different effect. I like the way the gold's moving around. I want to get that that's better. Push that over there a bit. That's nice. Okay, I think, just going to pop just the tiniest little bit of gold up there. And now I've lost it there. Okay, move that back up there. All right. down there. Yeah, I'm happy with that now. I'm going to put just a tiny little bit of yellow over there. That's nice. And maybe a little bit there. The card's beginning to flatten out now, which is making life a bit easier. Okay. And a little bit over here as well. Okay, I am going to say that's done. So again, I'm just going to move that to one side and let that dry. They actually, because it's isopropyl alcohol, once it's evaporated, it really doesn't take very long to dry at all, which is fab. I don't know why I've put my lid on that one, probably because I'm not going to use it again. There we go. So I'm just going to move that one out of the way and let that one dry. Hopefully you can see that. It's still very wet at the moment, but once that's dry, it will look very different. So I'm going to pop that over there and move on to the third one. Okay, I'll just do the one more and then we will call it a day. So this is just the plain, I say it's plain photocopy paper. It is plain paper, but it has got, it's more of a creamy paper than a white paper. And I think what we'll do on this one, so I'm just getting my sleeves out of the way. Look how messy I am. Fab, isn't it? Love getting messy. And I'm going to use my violet. I'm going to use my blue. Let me take the lid off of that one. And I'm going to use, I think I'll use the pink rather than the red. What's that? Green, don't want green, don't want black for this one. Let me move that one out of the way. And I think I'm going to go with the very light pink metallic on this one and see what that gives us. So I'm going in, guys. Here we go. As you can see, it actually brings out the detail behind the paper, but you won't see that once it's all done. Do you know what? I'm actually going to soak all of this at the same time. Oh, that's nice. Quite like how that's splattering that. That works nicely. Okay, then we're going to pop some blue in. And I'm going to go back to the purple. Bit of purple. And I've got that all over me. Look. It does come off with that with nail varnish remover. And this is going to be a horrible squidgy mess, isn't it, I think? We shall see. Time will tell. Okay, I love the colour that's coming in down here. Can you see that? That's beautiful, isn't it? Let's move that over there. Move that. Where's that gold come from? I didn't use a gold. How bizarre. Is one of those gold? I didn't think it was. Oh well, looks nice anyway. Now then, I like that going down the centre there, but I don't want the whole thing looking like that. So I'm going to take some of that off. That looks nice. I like that. Okay. Right, that was just, I'm just going to get another clean bit of tissue. And then we're going to go in again and spray. And I want some blue and some violet. That's good. Okay. I don't like the fact that I could still see the design behind this. Maybe the paper that I'd used on this one wasn't quite thick enough, maybe. But we'll keep going with it and we'll see how we go. Like I say, the beauty of this is you can just play till your heart's content. And because it's abstract, there is no right or wrong with it. It is literally that. It is just abstract. And because it is abstract, you really can play. That's nice. Now, see, the paper here was drying a little bit, so the ink has soaked into the paper so much better. And now if I spray that, because there wasn't a lot of the isopropyl near it, we've got a really lovely vivid red there now, which looks nice. I'm going to go in with my metallic. Just want to splodge that around. Splodge obviously being a technical term. And we are beginning now to obliterate the design behind the paper, which is what I was trying to achieve. Now then, that pink I don't think gives me enough definition. So I think I would like some of the metallic. Where is it? Is that the one? Yeah, let's pop a little bit of this on. Not too much. Like I say, I do feel that on some of these I have been a little bit overzealous on the use of the gold, but I do think it adds a nice little dimension. I think I'll pop a bit, I need a bit more alcohol, I think, down here. Okay, pop a little bit there. And I want a bit more colour up here. I don't know if you can just see there. You can just see the border of the design there. So I'm going to pop a little bit of blue and a little bit of the purple. And just see if I can just take out that edging, which I think I've just successfully done that, and I like that. That looks nice. Okay, I'm actually happy with that. I don't know what you guys think. I am going to leave that as it is and let that dry. And again, the beauty is once it's dry, you can come back and you can add things to it if you want to. And you can layer these up as much as you want to until you feel quite happy with it. So I'm just putting all my lids on. I'm going to have a clean up, let these dry off, and then I'll come back and I'll show you the finished ones. Okay, so bear with me while I just do all of that. Okay, so we're all cleaned up and well, almost clean anyway. I've still got a bit of ink on me, but that's never mind. And I'm just going to show you now what we ended up with. So I'm just going to stand up so I can see that I'm in shot. So we got this one, which was on the music paper, which has got the metallic on and the greenish background. I quite like that one. There's this one, which is the blues and pinks, and again with the metallic. I do like adding the metallic in, I have to be honest. I think it gives a really nice dimension. We've got this one as well, which has got the red and greens in, which is a metallic on the music paper. And we've got the mauves and purples. We've got the mauves and blues here with that one. We've got the more grungy look here with the browns and golds and silvers. And then again we've got the reds and blues and purples here. And then just before I cleaned up, I also did a final one just to use up the postcards that I'd got ready, and I did this, which is browns, orange, gold and pink metallic, and I absolutely love that one. I think that one's beautiful. Out of all of them, I think this one is probably my favourite. I also love this one as well. So they're very similar in style, very sort of grungy looking. And I also, this was the one on antique paper. And I don't know if you can see, but I also like the fact that you can see the paper design behind there as well, which I really like. I really like that one a lot, actually. That was done on a plain paper, so there's no background to that. But I think for the purposes of decoration, moving forward, I do like the ones where you can actually see the background. So, for instance, on this one, where it's the vintage paper that I've used, you can see the background on that, which I think looks really nice. And then on these two as well, which I really like, again, because you can see the backgrounds on those, I think they look really lovely as well. So these are okay. I mean, don't get me wrong, I will still use them once they're embellished, but I wouldn't put them in my category of favourites. I think these two I love, and these two are my absolute favourites. I love those. I think they are just beautiful. So that's it for today, guys. A little bit of stash busting with the postcards, with a little bit of mixed media thrown in as well to add to the bargain. And I'll look forward to seeing you all again on Monday. Hope you have a fab weekend. Take care, everybody.